Hello friends, I am Dr. Madhukar Jadhav. In the previous lecture, we have seen different types of bearings, that is whole circle bearing and quadrantal bearing. Then we have seen the comparison between whole circle bearing and quadrantal bearing, and finally we have studied what is meant by fore bearing and what is meant by back bearing. In this lecture, we are going to study what is meant by local attraction, different techniques or methods for finding out the local attraction. Then we are going to study declination, then dip of the needle, and finally isogonic and agonic lines. So starting with local attraction. When prismatic compass is set up at a station, a freely suspended and properly balanced magnetic needle will point towards the magnetic north. In compass we have seen there is a needle and that needle always points towards the north and south pole. However, if a magnetic compass is set up in the vicinity of iron or steel structure or under the cable carrying electric current, the magnetic needle of compass does not point to the magnetic north and is affected or deflected from its normal position. This deflection or deviation of the needle from its normal position is known as local attraction. The external disturbing sources can be lamppost, iron pipe, rails, steel tank or steel structures, etc. Hence, while selecting survey station in case of compass survey, we should avoid such objects or such disturbing stations. Next, the occurrence of local attraction can be detected by observing the difference between the fore bearing and back bearing of a line. If there is no influence of local attraction and other errors, then this difference will be exactly 180 degree. So we can conclude that both stations are free from local attraction. Means if difference between the fore bearing and back bearing for a particular line is exactly 180 degree, means both stations we can say that free from local attraction. Now whatever this local attraction is there, that can be calculated by two methods. So calculation of local attraction in compass surveying. First method. This method is based on the difference of fore bearing and back bearing. We already know that if the difference between fore bearing and back bearing of a line is 180 degree, there is no error in measurement or no local attraction. So based on this, error-free observations of bearings, correctness for other lines can be considered or calculated. Corrections for other lines can be calculated. If the observed bearing of a line is less than corrected bearing, the error is negative and the correction to the observed bearing will be positive and vice versa. Means suppose observed bearing of a survey line is 40 and this 40 is less than corrected bearing. Say corrected bearing is 42. So error is 2 degree. So this error is negative and the correction to the observed bearing will be a positive. Okay. Then next one, calculation of local attraction, second method. This method is more faster than the first method. This method is based upon the interior angles of the closed towers formed. The interior angles measured will be correct on the basis of the fact that these angles are not affected by the local attraction. So the sum of total interior angles for a closed towers will be 2n minus 4 into 90 degree. For any sided figure, the sum of interior angle is calculated by the formula 2n minus 4 into 90 degree, where n is the number of sides of that figure. If there is any error exists, both sum will not be the same. That is theoretical sum and the field measurement. That is theoretical sum means calculated by the formula 2n minus 4 into 90 degree, and field measurement means the reading which we have taken actually in the field. The total error can be distributed among the angles equally because equal error will occur on each interior angle. Suppose the error is 20 minutes and the figure is triangle. So whatever this 20 is there, 20 divided by 3 will be the error at each of this angle. So equally distributed. The total error can be distributed among the angles equally because equal error will occur on each interior angle. So starting from the correct observations or the bearing or line which is free from local attraction, we can calculate all other corrected bearings for the remaining lines. Then next we are going to study regarding magnetic declination. Magnetic declination is nothing but it is a horizontal angle between magnetic north or magnetic meridian and the true north or true meridian. In short, magnetic declination is the angle between true north and the magnetic north. When north end of magnetic needle is pointed towards the east side, that is right side of the true meridian, then the declination is termed as east or declination is towards eastward, and when magnetic needle points towards west, it is termed as west declination. Declination varies from place to place and at any station from time to time. Now in figure A and B, the declination for various positions of magnetic meridian and the true meridian is shown. In the first figure, this is the true meridian and this is the magnetic meridian and this is the line we can see. So this is towards east side, so this declination is called east declination. Second figure, this is true meridian and this is the magnetic meridian. So this declination is called as west declination. Now how to find out the true bearing of line by knowing the declination? So the formula is true bearing of a survey line is equal to magnetic bearing of a survey line plus or minus magnetic declination. So we have to use positive sign if declination is towards east, and we have to use negative sign when the declination is towards west. So see figure, this is the declination and this is the line of the, this is the bearing of line, say OA. So to find out the true bearing, what we have to do? We have to use positive sign, and when the magnetic meridian to this side, then this angle we have to add to find out the true bearing. So when it is towards west side, we have to use a negative sign. Then next we are going to study some terms. First one is the isogonic lines. So isogonic lines are the lines obtained by joining the points at which magnetic declination is same at a given time. Means we have to select the different points on the surface, and where magnetic declination is same, that points we have to join, and by joining these points we are getting the line. That line is called as isogonic lines. Then second one, agonic lines. These are the lines obtained by connecting or joining the points at which the magnetic declination is 0. Means we have to join the points on the surface where magnetic declination is 0. Then the line which we are getting is called as isogonic lines. And finally, dip of the needle. As we know, due to the magnetic influence of the earth, the magnetic needle after magnetization will not remain in horizontal position, but it will be inclined towards the pole. So this deflection of the needle with the horizontal is called as dip of the needle. The dip is not constant but varies from place to place on the surface of the earth. It will be 0 at the equator and 90 degree at the magnetic pole. So in this lecture we have studied regarding what is meant by local attraction, then different methods for calculating local attraction, then we have studied what is meant by declination, then what is meant by dip, then what is isogonic lines and what is agonic line. So this is enough in this lecture. Thank you.